Hi and welcome everyone. Nice to see you all here. Thanks Josephine for the nice introduction, and welcome Anne as talking about ReDI School a bit more later. So why we are here today? Well, we all know that diversity is essential for successful teams, also counting for tech, of course. So my name is Leonie, and we're talking about women in tech, empowering female entrepreneurs today. So, as I said, I'm already excited to hear more about ReDI School and also that dedicated program for women. Grace itself is named after Grace Hopper. You may know her or knew who she was. She was a computer pioneer and a very important role model, and also encouraging young people to learn programming. So talking of role models, this is not only an important topic in tech, but also for female entrepreneurs, where we focus with Grace, because currently it's only 15% female founders, and we are on a mission to change that and empower women to start their own business and focus on their ideas, because we know they're out there. So getting back to the tech sector, we also see that around 11% are only female leaders in the tech business worldwide. So looking at these numbers, it's clear it's a minority. And also, what you also probably know, working here in Berlin or in other cities, trying to find tech talents to fill your positions is really not the easiest game. So I don't want to deep dive into studies today or talk more about numbers, because what matters the most is the actions we take with Grace, but also at ReDI School, to change that picture and to have actions in tech and to empower women. So I hand over to Anne to tell us more about ReDI School, and I also hand you over.
Thank you, Leonie. Hi. I hope you are still awake after getting some nice sun and something to eat. So I founded ReDI School three and a half years ago here in Berlin in response to the refugee crisis. The background of ReDI School is that in 2015 I was in a refugee camp trying to figure out how I could possibly help. And there I met Mohammed, who was a young man from Iraq. Mohammed was a programmer, but a programmer without a laptop. And he was incredibly desperate, I would say, because if you take away a laptop from a programmer, he's not very happy and he's not very good at working either. So he would try to go to the local library to somehow keep up with his skills. But it wasn't really working well. So when I met Mohammed, I started wondering, what is it that I can do? I have 2 old laptops at home. Maybe I could give him one of them. And soon realized that if I just give him a laptop, maybe his life is better. But there are so many people like Mohammed out there who could need help. So we founded ReDI School pretty much the next day, based on the idea that there is 82,000 available jobs in the German IT sector, and it's growing by the minute. At the same time, we had 1.2 million refugees who arrived in Germany, many of them highly skilled and highly motivated with an international outreach. So why don't we train them and help them fill some of the IT jobs in Germany? Now, 3.5 years later, we are teaching about 1,000 students every year at our school in Munich and in Berlin. We have, what does it say there? 38% IT top talents engaged as volunteers. I think it's the thing that makes ReDI School a little bit different is that we don't have teachers. We work with more than 300 volunteer teachers from the IT sector who spend a couple of hours at the school helping our students learn new tech skills, but also provides them with a new network. Our students are very diverse. They come from 34 different countries. So walking into ReDI School is a little bit like walking into the United Nations. One thing that I love about the school is also when you walk in, you have no idea who's actually a teacher and who's a student. And sometimes that also keeps changing. It is very much about a community of peers where we're learning from each other. Average age is 29, but it's really quite spread. Our youngest students are 6 years old. We have a kids program. Our eldest students is 62. It's never too late to learn to code. And the newest thing that we're just about to start is that we're also expanding into Copenhagen, so starting a women program in Denmark. Amongst the teachers here, you can see some of them. They come from also 31 nationalities. Most of them work in the startup industry. And one thing that at least is a little bit better is that we have 18% women teaching in our courses, so a little bit above average there. But 2 years ago, I decided that I wanted to have 50% of my participants in the courses being women, because we could see we only had 10% of the students being women. So we started changing the marketing strategy, we started changing our communication. That helped and got us to about 20%. But we realized that the only way that we could really hit the magic 50% would be if we completely thought about how can we redesign our courses. So we started a women program. We did a lot of co-creation sessions with female migrants and refugees to really see how they could help us build the perfect program. We had many questions all the way from, can we teach on a weekday? Should it be in the morning? Should it be in the evening? What are the skills that you are interested in? So everything was really created with our students all the way along. There are many success stories. One of my favorite is probably Riechert. She's an engineer from Syria. She arrived here. She's not considered a refugee because her mother is quite sick, so she didn't apply to be a refugee so that she can go back to Syria and visit her mother if she needs to. So Riechert was getting by collecting bottles in Berlin to earn enough money, even though she was an engineer. Through ReDI school, she started learning to code. She took part in a number of IT courses that we do with our corporate partners like Cisco. And after just 3 months, she was able to get a job as an intern at Cisco, and she now has a full-time job there. And this large transformation from being a bottle collector to being an engineer at one of the largest tech companies in the world took approximately 1 year's time. So it definitely shows how acceleration can be. There's a lot to tell, but let's start the conversation instead.
Thanks, Anne. I think it's great what you're doing at ReDI School. I'm always impressed to hear about it and learn more about it. One question that just came into my mind while you were talking about Cisco, I was wondering, and I didn't prepare that, but coming to that, how are companies responding to your program? And how is the transition from being a student to getting a job in a maybe partner company of yours, and to really express what's going on?
So we work with about 60, 70 different corporate partners, all the way from small design agencies to larger global companies like Cisco, Microsoft, Facebook, because we want to make it easy for people working in tech to do something good, but also to widen our horizons, to be inspired, because we fundamentally believe that that is what powers innovation. So the companies work with us on many different levels. Of course, the easiest is to give us some money so that we can pay for the whole organization. I have 36 employees right now. But what we really like is when companies get engaged and really do similar to what we can see Cisco has done. They are organizing our Internet of Things. It's a 3-month course where they're actually collaborating with Bosch, with Fraunhofer Focus, with SAP, with Capgemini, so that our students can go around in the different companies and explore how they're approaching the topics of IoT. And on the one hand side, our students, of course, get the theoretical knowledge. That's great, but even more important is that they get the network. So if they are able to make a good connection at SAP, it might lead to, hopefully, a lunch, maybe a meeting with the HR department, and eventually an internship or a job, which is good for us, but even more so for the companies who get access to talent.
Yeah. Talking about talent and then coming back to the topic on women in tech, why do you think are there so few women in tech? What's the matter there? What's going on?
I think a lot of it is culture, and I must say I'm also not a techie either. I did, when I was going to gymnasium, I also went into the tech course. I was probably, I think we were 2 out of 35 people who wanted, or women who wanted to study tech, and got completely ignored for a year by my teacher. And after 1 year of not really making any progress, I was passing my grades, but not really finding that this was my passion. I decided to give it up and do something else. So I think a lot of it is in culture and in expectations from teachers. But one thing that I find fascinating is if we look at Europe and where we find the most women working in tech, it's in the former Eastern Europe, in Bulgaria, in Romania, where it's still not at 50%, but it's a lot more common for women to study. And one thing that really surprised me in the beginning was that if you look at who is studying IT in Syria, actually 50% are women. Because in Syria, the women have realized I can work from home, I can be flexible, I can earn a lot of money, and I can still take care of my family and my children with the flexibility needed. So many people have an idea of what are women like in the Middle East, and actually there is a rising class of women who are really, really good in tech and entrepreneurship as well.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard about that fact yet. So we see cultural background and also, of course, society. I guess it's the same talking about entrepreneurship. Holding back the idea to really do it and found your company. So what do you think could change that? How can we get more women to start their businesses or go into a tech career and keep on doing it?
For me, I definitely believe in role models. It's also why I'm an ambassador of Grace and that I like to mentor young women. And I guess my wish would be a little bit like each one teach one, that if all entrepreneurs, not just women, but if all entrepreneurs said, I would love to coach and mentor a potential female founder, I think then we would make a big difference in a very short time.
Yeah, this is also something we see at Grace, which is a very successful mentoring community, and also a reason why women apply for the program, because they see the mentors and their role models, and that leads them to or helps them at least to make the decision to go for it and do it. Doesn't matter what other people maybe say. So the concept of role models, I think, is a really key aspect. So if you are a role model, I'm sure you are, take that with you today and support women with their ideas, either to found a company or to go into a certain direction with their career, because this is probably one of the actions we can take to change this 15% or less in the future and get some more women. But maybe one last question, and then we can open also for the audience to ask questions. Do you see successful models in other countries to promote women in tech and entrepreneurship and in this whole field?
Well, maybe it's not something to learn from, but I was very fascinated to see, I think Ghana has 46% of the entrepreneurs are women. And I was starting to look into why on earth are there so many female entrepreneurs in Ghana? And the result more or less was, well, they have no other opportunities. It's not a good answer, it's not a good strategy, but it's pretty interesting. And I think actually we can see a little bit of that in Berlin as well. I mean, I'm not German, I am Danish. I came here as well. I'm also learning German. So I didn't have all the opportunities that a German might have, so I have to think differently about how I go about my career. So I think using the strategy of looking at who are the potential entrepreneurs, who are the newcomers who come here who think differently, who might be more exposed to become entrepreneur would be interesting. But the larger campaigns also show that if we look to countries like Sweden, they have definitely are some of the best countries in Europe. I also recently saw that South Korea are doing really well. It seems that access to funding, having more female accelerators like Grace definitely is something that encourages. My big wish would be that the government would do something to encourage that we can get more female entrepreneurs, whether it's specific programs, making specific funds kind of open. I think that would make a big difference.
I guess that's a topic that we could even discuss on another stage and for a longer time.
I heard there was another woman here that we need to discuss this with.
Maybe, but we'll see about that. Thank you, Anne. I would like to open for questions from you. I think we have a microphone here somewhere. Thanks. So, any questions?
Hi. I was curious what you ladies are doing to actually engage with the next generation of female founders and the younger group that is actually, in Germany you have to have an internship while in high school or a practicum. And a lot of the young girls that I've talked to say that they end up just picking something that they're not really interested in. What are you doing to sort of make a mark on the younger generation and teach them that there are opportunities for them in tech?
Well, Grace itself is yet very young in terms of starting it. We had our first program last year, so we have the second one this year. I think there are certain factors. For once, it's still the role model thing that I think the more role models we create, the more ideas girls get of what they can achieve and what they can be, and going their ways, even if it's different than what they see at home or learn in school. Because one big learning from our program is, before we started it in our interviews, that women or girls are at a very, very early stage. They are not encouraged to follow their ideas or to start companies. So that could be family, friends, teachers, professors. So that's the mindset and the society topic again, where we probably need to do a lot of programs at universities, but also at schools, to cover those topics. I mean, tech in general, and this is not gender related, is a huge topic for the education sector at the moment, and I think there is still quite a lot to do to open eyes for every kid in school, what kind of possibilities there are and what kind of topics are there. Do you want to add?
We do several things. The easiest is just 1 hour before coming here, I mentor young women as well. I talked to Maram, who's 20 years old. She's from Yemen. And we went through building her prototype together for 1 hour and looking at the business model. She said she wanted to be an entrepreneur since she was 6. And I just love doing that and being very hands-on. On a more organizational or structured way, the way that we always work at ReDI School is through a design thinking process where on the first engagement with our students, they have to first look at what is a challenge in my daily life that I would like to solve. And then they start building a paper prototype of what would that app or website look like. And they see how that can be transformed within 4 hours. Then the idea is that when you take part in a ReDI School course, over the course of 3 months' time, you go from a prototype idea to actually having something that will be pitched on stage. So we have our demo day on Friday this week, where we'll have about 27 pitches from our students the first time that they're on stage, pitching in German, which is very exciting. So we're trying to give them exposure to start developing their ideas and get access to the community of people who can support them. And we take interns at any point in time. At the moment, I have 2 wonderful 16-year-old guys. More questions?
Anyone
We're out of time.
I guess we're out of time anyways. Right?
Actually, yeah, I wanted to thank you